In DePIN, deploying infrastructure is only the starting point. The real business begins when the right customers adopt it, trust its reliability, and pay for the value it delivers. This section connects market segments, go-to-market strategy, utilization, and revenue growth. You now have the core DePIN toolkit: fundamentals, market drivers, incentives, token economics, architecture, proofs, and supply-side go-to-market. The next question is how deployed infrastructure becomes a business through customer adoption, recurring usage, and revenue strong enough to sustain the network. A DePIN network does not earn revenue simply by adding nodes, devices, or coverage. Supply creates potential value, but demand turns that potential into business activity. The network must reach customers with urgent use cases, prove it is reliable, cost-effective, and easy to integrate, and then drive repeat usage. As utilization grows, capacity becomes revenue. The strongest networks reinvest that revenue where customer demand is highest. DePIN demand is not one uniform market. Each buyer is hiring the network for a different job. Developers want programmable access, APIs, compute, storage, and composability. Enterprises and AI companies care about scale, cost, redundancy, and performance. Municipalities and telecom customers prioritize coverage, reliability, compliance, and public benefit. Logistics teams and data buyers pay for real-world signals. Strong teams segment early because pricing, onboarding, trust, and success metrics differ by customer. Effective go-to-market builds on that segmentation. Adoption is not driven by one universal promise. Developers need fast integration, clear docs, uptime, and predictable APIs. Enterprises look for lower risk, procurement alignment, service guarantees, and cost control. Municipalities need public value, governance, accountability, and regulatory fit. Data buyers care about accuracy, freshness, provenance, coverage, and licensing. The discipline is matching each segment to a specific outcome, so the offer becomes relevant, measurable, and easier to buy. For many DePIN networks, developers are the fastest path to real usage. But they will not fight the infrastructure to discover value. The goal is to shorten time to first success with clear APIs, SDKs, docs, sandboxes, credits, and working examples. From there, dashboards, tutorials, and responsive support help experiments become active applications. Developer relations, grants, hackathons, integrations, and reference architectures then help the ecosystem compound. Enterprise go-to-market moves at a different pace. It is less about instant adoption and more about reducing perceived risk. Start with a focused pilot tied to measurable business outcomes. If that works, expect security reviews, legal terms, procurement workflows, invoicing, and vendor onboarding. The key is translation. DePIN benefits become uptime, SLAs, ROI, and operational resilience. Trust compounds through documentation, case studies, support, and account management, turning one deployment into expansion. Partnerships can turn a DePIN network from a standalone service into part of a customer's existing workflow. Cloud platforms, telecom providers, analytics tools, IoT systems, mapping services, and Web3 protocols can all become demand channels. The value comes from integration through APIs, resale, joint sales, or embedded features. This reduces switching friction, expands geographic reach, and adds credibility. Strong partners can also support compliance and bundling, making adoption feel lower risk for enterprise buyers. Demand generation should be managed as a life cycle, not a launch campaign. Awareness helps buyers understand the category and the use case. Trial gives them a low-risk way to test the network. Activation is the key moment when the customer achieves a meaningful first outcome. After that, production usage depends on reliability, support, and predictable pricing. Expansion happens when proven value leads to more workloads, locations, data volume, or recurring spend. Pricing is not just monetization. It is part of demand activation. Buyers need a model that matches how they already measure work: API calls, storage, compute hours, coverage, or data streams. Usage-based pricing lowers entry friction, while subscriptions and reserved capacity improve predictability. Enterprise contracts and data licensing fit larger buyers with procurement requirements. Pilots, credits, discounts, and minimums can reduce uncertainty until customers prove ROI. Bootstrapping supply is only the first cliff. A DePIN network can have devices, coverage, and token incentives, yet still produce little durable revenue if customers do not adopt it. Utilization grows when density matches real use cases. The product is reliable, integrations are easy, and buyers see clear ROI. At this stage, the operating focus shifts from rewarding deployment to selling outcomes, pricing effectively, and retaining customers whose workflows depend on the network. Adoption is not the finish line. Customers stay when the service becomes reliable operating infrastructure. That requires uptime, accuracy, predictable performance, fast support, and clean billing. Customer success should keep asking whether the customer is getting the business outcome they were promised. When the answer is yes, usage deepens. The network becomes embedded in workflows, teams depend on it, and expansion follows through more sites, more data, more workloads, or new business units. A healthy DePIN network is not proven by node count alone. Demand metrics show whether real customers are moving through the funnel, using the service, paying sustainably, and receiving reliable performance. Track conversion from leads to pilots to activation. Then connect that to usage, such as API calls, data volume, or compute hours. Finally, test the economics: ARR, margin, CAC payback, retention, and churn. If demand, revenue, and reliability improve together, the network is becoming a business, not just infrastructure. Demand generation works best as a learning loop. Start with a narrow beachhead where the network has a clear advantage. Then test channels, developer communities, outbound, partnerships, marketplaces, events, and content. Use pilots to validate the pain, willingness to pay, integration effort, and expansion path. Measure acquisition, activation, retention, and unit economics together. If the motion is repeatable and profitable, scale it. If not, learn quickly and pivot before spending more. Demand generation turns DePIN capacity into business value. Start by segmenting the right customers, then match the motion. Developer-led adoption through APIs and community, or enterprise growth through pilots, trust, and account management. The goal is recurring utilization, revenue, retention, and expansion. Next, we move into operations and compliance.